One of the reasons that we started Career Chats at LifeVidya was because we really wanted to reach out to people, to reach out to the youth, the teens, parents, and even children, younger children who have dreams of making a certain type of career or pursuing a certain field. And so often in my life, I have come across situations wherein people say, I wanted to be an actor, but my parents wouldn't think of it. Oh, I wish I could dance all my life. My life is dance. And yet here I am, I'm a chartered accountant. You hear these stories repeatedly and you go for performances, recitals, beautiful, beautiful renditions and theaters and plays of other people, not of your own. Because somewhere, somehow, this particular career has not come and has not been accepted as something which can be mainstream, which can be enjoyed, which can be financially stable, and which can make you successful. So I really wanted a space wherein we could have professionals, we could have successful people from different fields come across and share their story. Talk about what is it that made them choose a certain profession, inspire others, tell us their highs, tell us their lows, tell us what worked, tell us what didn't work, so that when we want to start a new journey, we are much clearer about what is it that we can look forward to. So that's what we're trying to do here at Life Vidya. It is a career coaching space, it is a personal growth space, and it's also a space where I welcome experts and people who can take out the time, who have the patience, and students and parents so we can interact. We can share those nuggets of wisdom which are otherwise lost. They are there in the world, but we haven't made them meet. So thank you so much for joining in today and welcome to this Career Chat series. Bhavani ma'am, thank you so much for coming here, for your kindness, for your patience, and for your willingness. That's what inspires me to come back to you and say, one more thing I want to ask you. Can I do this also? I really enjoy our interactions. And let me introduce her. I've put something in a slide. It doesn't do justice. But we have to do what we can do the best. She is a performer, a choreographer, and a teacher for more than 3 decades. So we are actually going to benefit from 30 years of experience that she's going to share with us. And she started training at the tender age of 4 years with some of the biggest of gurus, Dr. Rukmini Devi Arundel, Miss Prasanna Vadani, Savitri Jagannath Rao, big names, big teachers who really helped her grow. And she is doing this for others, for hundreds of students. She's nurturing that talent, that Indian heritage and culture. I really, really feel very inspired to have her in my community, in my friend circle, and as my daughter's guru, I really look up to her. And she's not just trained in Bharatanatyam dance, it's also Carnatic vocal music. And if you think it's only classical, she's also trained in Western music. So look at the versatility of Guru Bhavani Anantharaman. Thank you so much for coming here. And look at the titles: Bharati Natyamani, Shivali Nritya Shiromani, Kala Bodhikacharya from Sri Hayagriva, and Lok Kalamanch, New Delhi. These are the accolades that Bhavani ma'am has won, and it's been such an inspiring journey for all of us who attend some of the performances. I will take just few more minutes, ma'am, to introduce Bhavani's Prasannalaya, and then it'll be over to you. So Bhavani's Prasannalaya, it was founded in the 1990 in Chennai. And as ma'am moved, the Prasannalaya moved. It moved to Mumbai in 95. And finally, it came to Noida, Delhi NCR in 2009. Now, I have witnessed some of the performances, and it is amazing. It is not just a Bharatanatyam recital, it's music, it's storytelling, it's drama. It's an amazing legacy of art that we are fortunate enough to witness and to see and be as her audience. And the last year, it's been path-breaking because Bhavani's Prasannalia performed at the Bharatanatyam festival at the Tanjore temple in the south. And that is one of the most amazing experiences that one could go through. Not just that, Bhavani ma'am, along with her senior students, and that is what is commendable, was part of the largest ever performance at Chidambaram involving more than 7,000 participants, which gave them a chance to be featured in the Guinness Book of World Records. Now, that is such an amazing journey, Bhavani ma'am. We are honored to have you here.
So, first of all, thank you, Vidya, for involving me in this beautiful initiative of yours. You know, doing anything good to this generation, the younger generation, is really commendable, and you're doing a great job. And
Thank you so much, ma'am,
that you made me part of this. Thank you.
It's an honor. It's an honor, and thank you so much. Deep gratitude for this.
My journey was really a very happy journey, and I never felt even once that I'm learning an art form, I'm practicing an art form, I'm performing it, I'm teaching it. I never felt it this way. It was always it was a way of life for me. I'm Bhavani and the dance is with me. I never considered dance outside me, like I'm pursuing something, I'm learning something. It was never like that for me. It was always, it's part of everybody's life. Why should you even mention that I'm doing something? It has to be there. Dance and music is there in everybody's life, only that we don't really, listen to or see properly or clearly. That's it. And when you mentioned about this started learning dance at 4 years, I just would like to say something about that. It was not, I wasn't initiated into dance by my parent, my father or mother taking me to a dance teacher and leaving me there and then talking to the dance teacher. Nothing of that sort happened any time in my life. It was like, I was, how did my first interaction with dance itself was very interesting. My father had put me in a matriculation school. And those days it was not junior and senior KG, it was LKG and UKG, lower KG and upper KG. So he put me in lower KG, and I had this issue with, my soles and my hand palms would sweat like anything some days. So, my father had taken me to a doctor and he had asked me not to wear shoes for at least a month. So my father had produced a medical certificate to my school that he had requested them that she would come to school for a month without her shoes and socks. But the very first day, after producing this medical certificate, I was taken away from the assembly by the principal. He asked me to stretch my hand. I was given a beating with a wooden scale, and I was asked to wait outside the principal's room for an hour. And I came back home crying, and I had high temperature that evening. And then my father eventually came to know about this episode. The next day he went back, took my transfer certificate and brought me back home. There ended my schooling at that point in time. And then he said, I'm not taking her back. So my mother pleaded, he said, after a week's time, she can go back. I will go and explain and all that. My father was, the father-daughter bonding, a very special one. So he didn't want to send me back. So that's when I started accompanying my mother to all her music classes. In the afternoons, in the evenings, name it. Because I was at home. I was not going to school. So I was tagging along with my mother. She used to learn music. She was learning. She loved music and she had a beautiful voice, but she could not learn music in her childhood. So she was learning, wherever, because Chennai is a place where you can find music teachers and musicians in every street. So, she used to go search for teachers who would teach her Kshetrajñar Padams. She would teach some Padams, normal Padams, and then Ashtapatis and things like that. And she used to go and learn, and I used to tag along. And I used to sing all the songs, but I never used to know the words, but I used to sing the tunes of all the songs, whatever she learned. So that is how my journey in music started. In one such class, there used to be a beautiful girl who used to come and take dance classes. Uh, the music class would happen in one corner of that auditorium, and the other corner, it was a community hall. The dance used to happen. So I used to get up and go there, watch. And I started, she thought, I was going to join the class or something like that. She said, come start dancing. And my Aramandi used to be very good, I believe. Because Aramandi is something which, is so very important for Bharatanatyam. So I just started. And my parents didn't even know I had started the classes. She used to sing there and I used to go and dance there. That ended the matter. And one fine day, it was raining and my father had come with an umbrella to take me and my mother back home. And he saw me amongst those dancers, dance children. He was surprised. He said, she is supposed to accompany her mother to the music class. Where is she doing in the dance class? When he went and asked the teacher, she said, no, she's dancing very well. I think you should make her learn dance. But then, that I think was the moment that my father felt, he should do something with my dance and music. He already knew I used to hum music, the songs, whatever my mother used to sing. He knew I was interested in music, but that was the day he realized that I could be a dancer, like any other father. When a daughter says, I want to become an artist, there ends the matter. She has to become an artist, isn't it? Mothers are more practical. But that is how. And he was going to this library in Theosophical Society, where, for the children who are here, I would like to say that huge banyan tree, it was inside the Theosophical Society. And my father used to go to that library. That's how he got to know about Annie Besant, Dr. Rukmini Devi Arundale, and people who were associated with this Theosophical Society. And then he also came to know that Dr. Rukmini Arundale has started a dance art center, music, dance, and everything, Kalakshetra. And he also came to know that she has started this Montessori school. And I believe that it was the first school in the country. It was first started by Dr. Rukmini Devi Arundale, and it was inside the Kalakshetra premises. And then when he came to know about the methodology, Montessori method of teaching and things like that, he just fell in love with that school, and I was admitted there. That's it. So my first dancing lessons, my parents did not know when I started, no auspicious time, no auspicious day, nothing at all. And I just started. And after joining Kalakshetra, it was again another interesting episode where, we were, many of you must be aware of this Montessori method. It was a very different teaching methodology where the students are given a lot of freedom. And, that's again another story. I don't want to go into that. And then we were taken on field trips to the art center every week once. And they would ask the students to go and sit in the classes, whichever classes they liked. There would be art classes happening, music, dance, instruments like mridangam, violin, flute, and dance forms, different dance forms of Kathakali, Bharatanatyam, and everything. And every month, Rukmini Devi Arundale would visit our school, the Montessori section, and she would talk to us. And one such, session, I had raised my hand, and she was asking, like, what do you people like about the art section and things like that. I raised my hand and said, like, I loved the dancing part. And every day, if you take me there, I would love to go and sit there. So that was my answer. And she also asked me what exactly I liked about dancing. And, there was one particular scene that had really impacted me, where, a gopi is walking with a pot in the front, and then Krishna standing behind her, about 8 to 9 feet behind her, and picks up a stone and throws at the pot, and the pot breaks. See, the thing is, there was no pot, there was no stone, but the moment the stone is thrown, and then after a few seconds, the pot breaks, and that was a magic for me. How can somebody, without turning her head and she's not looking at Krishna. And how does she know that he's throwing the stone? And how exactly after 3 seconds she drops the pot? How does that happen? And I told her that I am not understanding this magic. So she told me, if you want to understand the magic, you have to really spend a lot of time learning dance. And then I said, yes, I want to learn. She wrote a letter, she put it in my bag, and she said, show it to your parents. And I forgot, totally forgot about it. And the next 2 days, I was taken to the dance section after my school hours. And I came home about an hour later. Like I used to come back home by 3:30. I was coming back around 5. And after a couple of days, my mother was really upset. Like a 7-year-old, 6-year-old child, and she's missing the first bus and she's taking the second bus. Nobody is even bothered. Nobody is even informing us. So she and my father went there. And Dr. Shankara Menon was second in command in that school. You know, he was working with Dr. Rukmini Devi Arundel, and he was in the office at that point in time. And he explained to my father that she is being picked up and she is part of our dance section from last week, the previous week. And she was selected by none other than Dr. Rukmini Devi Arundel. So he said, would you like to continue or you want to take her back? My father said, yes, she is going to be here. She is your responsibility. And that's how I started, continued my journey. Again, no auspicious days, no auspicious time. I was just into that. And that was the happiest, I think, that 3 years was a really joyful, happy years for me. I really enjoyed my dancing. Every day, 1 hour after my school hours. That was beautiful. That's how I started learning. And then after I finished my Montessori school, primary, this one, they had Bessin school, which had from secondary classes also. But then conveyance was a problem for us because Kalakshetra was in Trivanmur, which was a little far away from Adyar at that point in time. And the roads were deserted. There were no public transport. My mother had to every time take me in the cycle rickshaw and drop me back. And all that was a big issue. So I was shifted to a state board school. So my dance for some time did not happen. Nothing happened for about 3 to 6 months. And one of the teachers from Kalakshetra, Jaya teacher, in fact, last year she had come here and these children also, all my students met her, and she was the one who was really instrumental in getting me back to dancing. There was this teacher, Prasanna who was doing her teacher's training in Kalakshetra. She had done her dance through graduation, post-graduation, and she was doing her teacher's training. She was staying very close to my house. So Rukmini Devi Arundel gave her permission to take classes for me. Actually, in those days, Kalakshetra teachers or the postgraduate teachers training teachers were not allowed to take classes outside. It was a big no-no. But then she had given special permission to my teacher to take my classes. That's how I continued under Prasanna until my Arangetram.
That's such a wonderful story. I mean, you told me once long back that, I couldn't have done anything else, but I didn't know there was so much behind it. I'm also curious to know. I mean, today's times are very different. And today, how will a child know, or how will a parent know that, this is this spark that this child has, and, performing arts, dance, music is going to be the mark for this child? I mean, is there something that can help us? Because what is your observation as a teacher?
After all these years interacting with the children and working with the children, you just can't say anything. You have to, the children, the parents have to give it a try. Because I've had children who, had joined my classes because the parents had, insisted, and they had joined, and they had been with me for 2 years, 2.5 years, nothing happened. And suddenly one fine day, I don't know where that spark comes or what happens. And they were so very passionate about this. And that has happened. And I've had children who come with a lot of, potential, and from the very first class, they just give their best. So you just can't say you have to give it a try, because there are no examinations, entrance exams or anything to find out the, maybe people like you who try to talk to children to find out their passion and their can help us, and help the children.
Yeah, actually, that's the reason why I started this space, and that's the reason why I interact with many people. You know, I would say,
But Vidya, what I want to tell you here is, like, parents can give, can introduce these art forms to the children right from their, when they are very young.
hmm,
You can take them to concerts, even at home, instead of, I'm sorry to say this, I'm not against Bollywood music or Bollywood dance. Yes, but, instead of all the time watching the TV with those Bollywood numbers, they can actually once in a while switch to the channels where classical music is played. Or you can just switch on, if you, now that you have your mobile phones with all kinds of music, you can switch on. It need not be classical music. What I'm trying to say is, it is not only classical music, classical dance. There are so many other forms of dance other than Bollywood. The children can watch them. They must watch, in fact.
yes, I totally agree with you. And I think it's really a mindset and, what is everybody doing kind of perspective. So, I mean, you were fortunate enough to have parents who encouraged you from day one. Now, in the world, we have people who have some, I would say more like a mindset or a belief that it's going to be difficult to make it as a performing artist. So I want you to share your journey, your triumphs, because we learn from other people's stories, and then it
Yeah.
is for us to work. So,
Uh, you're see, you want me to tell about how I moved from my arangetram onwards, or how I moved from a performer to a teacher? What is exactly your?
how you moved as a professional in performing arts. So,
Okay.
when that transition, yeah.
Bharatanatyam is a very expensive art, no doubt about it. Whether be it the learning uh, time years, or after that also, when you have to perform, costumes, jewelry, and then a good auditorium. For music and dance, you need a good auditorium with good acoustics. Otherwise, the performance, nobody will like to watch a performance which is done in a not so good auditorium. You cannot watch it beyond 10 minutes. So
Yeah.
for sure, you need a good auditorium. You need all the time, you cannot be performing for recorded music. You need musicians singing, live musicians is very important. So if there is going to be live musicians, then you need rehearsals. Nobody comes for rehearsals free of cost. So right from, uh, you know, uh, from the rehearsals till the performance stage, you lot of expenses involved. So you must be first of all mentally prepared for that. So
Hmm.
the time when I was young and I was performing, there were a lot of things which were available